Good evening, guys. Netbug here, and welcome to the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I am super excited to play this. I played the original Stanley Parable, had a really good time, and I I heard some really good things about what they did with this one. So sorry if I sound a little bit weird. It's been a little while since I did a PC game stream, and I'm getting adjusted to it again. Everything's looking good. So without any further ado, let's see what kind of crazy content they added to this game. English. I have, but it's been a really long time. Like, I'm almost at the 5 years without playing achievement. Yeah, I'll click yes. I hope it doesn't skip over too much. Please slider until the computer is barely visible. Alright. Huh, interesting. Where I am, it is currently... Nope. It is currently 10:38 p.m. Accessibility settings can be accessed from the main menu. I heard they did some really cool stuff with the accessibility in this one. Like, they really took the extra mile to make this game as accessible as it can be, and I just think that's really cool. I'm glad to see games going that route. So let's see. What did they do? Mouse sensitivity, camera sensitivity. Hold the left and right mouse buttons to walk. That's cool. Subtitles. Oh good, you can change the subtitle size. Game devs, take note. If you say your game is accessible and you don't let people change the subtitle size, I don't care how artsy you're trying to be. You gotta let people change the subtitles. Show translation labels. Translated labels on top of enrolled text. Show color labels. Content warnings. Oh, that's cool. You know, I think we are going to turn on content warnings. I don't see myself having to skip any part of the game, but I would like a little bit of a heads up for some of these themes, and it also gives chat an opportunity if there's something coming up in the content warning that you're not cool with. You can bow out. Totally understand. Alright, that's looking good. That's looking good. I'm gonna turn this to medium for now because I don't trust my computer with everything going on to not have any problems if I put it on high. Okay, simplified control. This is so cool. Bravo to the team behind Stanley Parable for putting this much thought into the accessibility. I really appreciate that. Alright, let's get started. I'm gonna laugh if it already crashed. This is why I prefer to do console games. I know my PC is not exactly a hulking beast.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Alright, I remember this.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Gamers, that's you!
Was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
All right. What if I don't? What if I just stay here? I forget how all the endings work. I just remember being as annoying as possible to the narrator. I can't jump. Tragic. Okay, fine, I'll leave.
All of his co-workers wouldn't. Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-worker.
Wasn't there a way to... right, there was definitely a way to get up on here and jump out the window. I remember this. Let me out. Let me out.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place.
Nah, I would have.
Now,
I've played
think
enough
about it.
Pokemon Mystery
Would it be
Dungeon.
worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to,
How
then
long does
perhaps
he
you're
go
not.
on doing this?
In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Do I have to actually, like, escape the game, too? Because I thought it would automatically send me back when I got stuck in one of these things. Or do I have to... Okay, I just have to do like that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hey, Blackjack, how's it going? Alright, he's gonna tell me to go through
When
one of
Stanley
these.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm just feeling really antagonistic today.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Hello.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I know this doesn't end well, but I have to just do everything wrong at first.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it.
Danger everywhere.
Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Nah.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Nah.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with
How about
me?
a crafting
You've given me
system?
absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback.
Uh-oh.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Nah.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices?
Oh my
Feel
gosh.
free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Worldwide leaderboards. Oh, wow. This is... Oh, no. Ask some friends for help. Friends list empty. Only the worst 3% of players. Okay, we're going this way now. Do you know any of the endings already, or are you just poking around? I've played the original game before, but it's been a really long time.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
No.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls
Oh wait, I
left
do remember this
towards
one.
danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice.
What if
But
I don't
of course,
do anything
the message
here?
of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be
Well,
sure to
guys,
keep
I guess
notes
this
on
is the
your
rest of the
experience.
stream now.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me?
To
Because
spite
if it's
you.
the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here?
What now?
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give
What
it a
now?
shot.
What now?
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this
Oh,
game is
this is
about?
this is like an
Stanley?
actual
What's
game,
our backstory? What is our
but
motivation?
I don't know exactly what this one is.
Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a
I know
creepy
this is like a
man
real
spying
game.
on
I'm not
innocent
aware
civilians below you from
of
up high in
exactly
your
what it
crypta,
is.
perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose.
The doodles of an S.
Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Nah, I kind of like it in here. I just take a nap. Okay, fine. Let's see. Ew! Yeah, I don't want to be in here. I'm not seeing any connection issues on my end, so I'm not getting any alerts. So it probably yours, sadly. The game does sputter a tiny bit between, like, scenes, but that's all I'm getting. Man, what game is this? I know this is a real game.
No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly, block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any...
You know, I actually kind of agree
thank
with the
heavens
narrator
we
on this
avoided
one. It took me a while to adjust to open world games. I kind of
I'm
get
going
it.
to get us out of here. Let's find another game.
Uh-oh.
Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
Are these all going to be real games?
Okay.
Oh, Firewatch!
think
I
this
haven't
will
played
be
that or
just the
anything.
thing.
But yeah, I'm guessing that's what that is. What now? Where are we going?
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around it. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game
Rocket
design.
League!
Stanley,
Oh
if
no!
you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Aren't I supposed to be in a car or something? Like, I don't think this
Okay,
is
so
the
what
proper
exactly
way to...
do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a
Oh
ball
my
of some kind back here.
goodness.
Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown
Evening,
together.
Kanchame. How's it going?
Yes, I think surely we
Welcome
must.
to Rocket
Okay,
League?
here's the ball.
Yes.
Have fun.
I'm losing my mind. Oh, my speed just got faster. Whee! I haven't actually played Rocket League, but I've heard good things about it.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here
I
comes
know
another
he's
ball.
supposed to be making me miserable, but frankly, I'm
Yes.
having more
Oh,
fun
goodness,
kicking
that
around the
really
ball
does
than
feel
actually trying to
amazing,
score
doesn't it?
goals, so this
Stanley,
is
I'm
actually
like a child
great.
in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls.
Oh. Whee! I think the narrator and I might actually have more
Are you
in common
enjoying
than we
this, Stanley?
think.
Are you having fun? Is this a real video game?
Yes!
Well, I sure
Oh,
hope you're...
oh, I can
Hold
go
on.
down here.
What are you doing?
Yes, the Stanley Parable. There's a new version out. With a bunch of new content. Uh-oh. Where'd it go?
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Oh. Oh man, I can barely see. Okay. Yeah, they even have the Rocket League logos. You know, I think there's even a Minecraft reference in this somewhere. They got some really slick permissions from other indie devs. Right, yeah, all the effort that must have gone into getting all the permissions to do this stuff. Although, I don't know if all these references were originally there, and, like, I'm sure that after the original game's success, they had a lot easier time. Like, hey, do you want to be in Stanley Parable? It's free publicity. 427. Interesting. Oh, it is so dark in here. I know there's somewhere I have to be going to, but like... Oh!
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Oh, dear. Do I just have to... Oh, no, it's loading. I know there's a... Right, you have to leave the game if you want to use cheats. I know about the cheat boxes. Now, does this game, like, give me any hint to how many endings I've unlocked?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, let's do what he wants now, because I kind of feel like I understand him a little better after that.
Open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I do indeed like a story-driven thing where my hand is held a little bit.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Oh, man. Can I get up on the table? Number of slides on the slide. No! You monsters! You monsters! I can't believe I've been helping make this happen. What have I become? Oh, can I go in the broom closet? Thank you.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
I mean, I could, but... Can I close the door? I can.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
I like this closet.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
How long can this keep going?
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Then why would you even bother doing all this modeling work, narrator, huh? That seems like a waste of resources.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Excuse me? Wow, okay.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming. so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Nah. I have half a mind to just go get a cup of tea and see what I come back to, but I don't want to miss anything. If you hadn't already picked up on it, I'm the kind of kid who would reset her GameCube 50 times just to hear Rossetti yell at her because she thought it was funny. What happens if I...
Second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Hello. Okay, I think he's done.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
You know, I was going to take the route you gave me, but you called me stupid and addicted to hookers, so I changed my mind.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
Ah, there's one of the content warnings I mentioned.
And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Yeah, I think the entire game has some themes of mental illness, so it is a bit redundant, but I think that when they explicitly state it is when they put in the content warnings. I just love that they added that feature. That's such a nice thing. You don't see that in video games very much.
Gently float above the ground.
Whoa, okay.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared.
Well, hold on, I was still going this way.
It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that?
Oh, it's a circle, isn't it?
This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Wait, is this the same room?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
What?
She rose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
You couldn't have at least called an ambulance? Yikes. We're back here then. Whew. Yeah, it said she was going to, but then she just ran away.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh no. What's in here?
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
I was hoping you'd know. Uh-oh.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Oh boy.
So far, it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
The more you say that, the less I trust that that's the case.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Me give you the content? What do you, like, I'm not in control of any of this, man. Well, don't tell me you're lost now, too. What?
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
I can jump. $18 well spent. Oh, last one, gotta savor it. Yeah! Aww. I half expected the game to go, now you can buy DLC with more jumps.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Oh boy. Thank you for enjoying the new content.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stan? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter.
On Twitter?
And hold them
Oh,
personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game? And we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills,
Oh my
no
gosh.
gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Oh dear. That is not my office. Hello?
Psst. Stanley, come over here.
Oh my
In
gosh.
the vent. I want to show you something.
Okay. Nah.
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Okay, let's go up
Coming
this
to a
time.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
The executive bathroom. Extreme bathrooms. Oh. What the heck? I don't remember that picture being there. Ooh. Hello? What's this? I don't know, it's just bloom effects. I thought it was something you'd pick up. How long are we gonna be in this elevator? I can only jam so long. Probably making you guys motion sick. I'll stop. Oh. Did I have to press that again? Okay. Wait. This is just the same room. Okay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
Right.
What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Uh-oh.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Ape?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps
is there any
his
way
death
to
was of
escape
no
this
great
situation?
loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Oh, okay. I think I'm dead.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Hi?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Oh, I remember this.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Right, the museum ending. I remember this. Oh.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Okay. But I'm having fun. I wish to keep playing this stupid game. I don't really care that I don't have a choice.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Let's see what's in the vent.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be.
Oh no, are we
So
gonna...
I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it.
A D-make?
Just our little secret.
Is it gonna be a
Take a
freaking
look.
D-make?
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release?
Oh my
Remember
gosh.
back in October of 2013
Oh
when the
my
game
gosh.
originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity.
Video
Back
games
then,
had integrity.
It all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Oh my goodness. Awarded to The Last of Us Stanley Parable over it in tape. On a BAFTA. Oh goodness. The first dollar they made. I bought the original game in 2019, so I'm not quite to this achievement yet, but soon. Did it really get on the cover of the LA Times? That doesn't sound right. Yeah, okay, no, I don't... Ah, yes. One of my favorite memories. Lying dead on the ground. Thank you, narrator. Little Stanley?
And over here
Oh
is
my
where I keep
gosh.
reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling
Oh my
writes, and I
goodness.
quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created."
Oh my
Did you hear that,
goodness.
Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them.
It's not
Now,
Persona 3.
it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk
I'm
with
losing
an
my
hour of
mind.
new elevator content.
I cannot seem to go into the maintenance room. The original remake. Oh no.
Here's another moving passage, this time
Oh
from
my gosh, I'm
GameSpot.com.
losing my
The
mind.
Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
The serious room. Where are we going?
These were simpler times, Stanley.
Ah, now it's
What
open.
I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Oh no. Oh no. I saw a thumbs down.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator
Imagine
is
being the
obnoxious
person
and
who wrote this.
unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Oh my goodness. I have a huge grin on my face right now. I'm sure that's a real review too. Like, can you imagine being the person who wrote that review now? And like, you didn't like the game, so obviously you didn't pick this one up, but somebody tells you. Somebody contacts you about it. Oh no. Oh no, not another one.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I?
You are the
You can tell
definition
me
of
if I'm
preachy.
Honestly, you can.
You are the
Oh,
definition
goodness.
of preachy.
This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks are my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure, like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
There's also some commentary here about when you're doing game development, you need to realize that you're not going to please everyone. Like, the narrator spends a lot of time trying to edit the original game in one of the endings just to please Stanley. And I've seen people... Sorry. I've seen people get feedback from one person in development and then just scramble to try to change things too quickly. You gotta really think about when to kill your darlings, you know?
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Anything else in here?
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is. So on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So, now you see, blah, 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 blah.
I'm just seeing
We've
how long
eaten too
this
much
is
and it
going.
can't be just yet. No, no, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is.
How
so
long
on
will
and
it
so
keep
forth,
going?
until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So, now you see, blah, 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 blah,
Wait,
blah,
is he
blah,
circulating?
blah, 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it
Oh,
can't be
okay,
just yet. No,
circulating.
no, until 245. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video game. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're...
Uh-oh.
Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks.
Bye.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time, I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one instant?
Uh-oh.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
How much longer is the heat death of the universe? I hear something back here. Oh boy. It's fine. Everything's fine. I don't think I can get up this way, but... You have been asleep for 99999. This feels very Portal-esque. Uh-oh. Uh... Can I press the button again? I cannot. Okay. Is that it? Are we just starting over? Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh dear.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Oh, that's what. Okay. I was curious because I seem to remember the game's ending including Minecraft. Apparently it was changed to Watch for the remake. I guess Microsoft has a bit more of a hold on the Minecraft IP or something, I don't know. Or maybe they just felt like featuring another game.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this Ultra Deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this Ultra Deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further.
This elevator is moving very quickly.
I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Uh-oh.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
They're back 2 doors. Oh no. I like how there's a bunch of logos here, and then thanks for attending my meeting on the last slide is in Comic Sans. That's good.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Only let him scrum for an hour. This is just as fun for, like, people who do game development as people who are fans of video games. There's some good stuff in here. Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar, Dark Souls 2. I was hoping I could go that way. New features. New content bus. There's like a bus in here. Alright.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Hear your name today.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim. Sleeping and waking as Jim.
Imagine if someone's
falling
name
in
is
love
actually
and being
Jim.
heartbroken as Jim. Seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim...
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become
button.
Jim.
Come on, button.
Jim.
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
What's this way?
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim
Jim play the
Stanley
Stanley
Parable
Parable
too.
too.
They would appreciate what I've created here. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
There isn't an end of this game, though. Ooh, fancy. Settings World Champion, Infinite Hole, free achievement. Oh, wait, hold on. I missed the bucket. I gotta go see the bucket. This is important. Oh, I can crouch now. I didn't realize I could do that. I can't run, though, can I? You heard Jim in the game. The button that says Jim, that's Jim. Oh, no. The reassurance bucket? Please no screenshots. Oh dear. What's in here too? Maybe it's all grown up. Oh no.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace
can I take
of
the
jarring
bucket?
cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Thank you.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Am I just carrying this bucket now?
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Well, one implies child labor, so... Oh, I have to pick one. I think...
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Oh no, the bucket is a companion cube XP. If I get attached to this bucket and feel sad when I have to get rid of it, I swear.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Sweet, return the jump circle.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
New free and easy achievements. I can't believe it's that simple. Pull the lever. Oh goodness.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever and when you...
Yippee!
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the
No, give it!
achievement is
Give
still
it!
fully
I need the
broken.
serotonin! I need the serotonin!
But I
Give me the
guarantee it
serotonin!
will be fixed in the sequel.
Give me the
It will
serotonin!
satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have
Please.
been uproariously
I
demanding
just need
this
the
feature.
good brain
Gamers,
chemicals of getting
we
a little
hear you,
digital badge.
and I promise it will happen.
Fine. I haven't seen an achievement so far. I'm not sure if the game is not showing me them, or if... Where am I going? Oh man, it's so dark in here. Let's just go back.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Collectibles? You can find them all. You can find them all. Oh boy.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be
So
no
no
reward
reward for collecting them.
all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Yay! Stanley does not look happy.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Right. Infinite hole. Also, what's here? This just... Oh, that's the balloon room.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
You guys know I'm gonna do it. Whee!
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later.
It's not
spectrum
really
of
endless, is
things.
it? This is
Okay,
the
Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly
exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole.
Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever.
All the cigarettes
Look,
people
I think
put
the
down
issue
here.
is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
I like this hole. I'm gonna stay in this hole. Unless he doesn't say anything else funny. Fine.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Whee!
Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not
Did you say
infinite,
the hole
but
was
that
made
it's
for
growing
you? Oh
steadily
no.
less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see
Oh no,
if it gets
he's
any
in on
shorter.
this now.
Well, there it is. The shame
Oh,
of my
gosh.
lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, how is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is
Oh,
the
no.
teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Okay. Hehe. What's with the music change? Uh-oh. Change your perspective. Ooh. Oh, the drama. What? Oh. What on earth is happening? Oh goodness. What is happening here? Change yourself. What is even happening anymore?
Stanley? Stanley?
Stanley.
Stanley!
Whoa!
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland.
Oh
But
my
we can't have that,
goodness.
Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
Am I gonna fall asleep again? Oh boy. Okay.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Did that one. I think there is... Exit. I feel like there was something else first, though. Like, yeah, settings world champion. I haven't seen that yet. I know I saw a way up there. Yeah, it was over here. I think. Yeah, it's this way. Mostly infinite hole. Not gonna let me go in there? Okay.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now? So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley?
I mean, if the jump circle and the hole were in the same spot, I could have at least gotten
It's a
out.
lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oh boy. Anything different in here, or anything I should notice? Nope. Okay.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Can I close the door? Oh, I never realized I could do that.
Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Well, that's creepy.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others. So Stanley felt the bucket calling to him, begging him to pick it up.
The bucket! Where's the
Why was
bucket?
he not doing it?
Where's the bucket? Bucket, my beloved, where are you? Oh, bucket!
Stanley picked up the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Alright, I'll play along.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Room closet, my beloved.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends?
How dare it?
That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
This is mine. Goodbye.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this. Coming to a staircase, Stanley
wait,
and the bucket
what did I
walked
miss?
upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Wait, what happens if we get
Now,
this wrong
in
too
his
many
darkest
times?
of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos?
It's beeping more.
It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Onward, bucket. Oh, sweet.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Okay, it's just really dark in here. But it's...
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley
and the bucket both wondered to themselves. Oh boy.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Come on, bucket.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Oh, there's a collection of buttons in here.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horror. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled
Bucket,
the room,
go on without me!
lingering in uncertainty.
Yeet!
Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Okay, I guess I just spend eternity with the bucket. I would have thought to just throw him out the door, you know? Oh?
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
Okay. Figurine Finders Committee.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Huh? There will be a reward for finding them all. Trust the completionist instinct. How can we find them? Oh. Oh, okay. A private but smelly place for an important person. I'm guessing that's the executive bathroom. Somewhere both red and blue is going to be going absolutely the wrong way to the red and blue doors. Let's start with those.
Coming to a staircase,
Also,
Stanley
something to
walked
do with
upstairs to his
stairs?
boss's office.
Maybe... Aha! There's...
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Huh. Okay, and I'm guessing the next one is in the executive bathroom. Let me in. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Said red and blue. Am I able to go back at this point, or do I have to finish the... Let's try completing... I can't go back, so let's try completing this without the bucket, because I don't think we've actually seen the proper ending yet.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact,
I always
this
forget.
keypad guarded the
I thought I
terrible
could get in.
secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
I almost got
But
it.
of course, Stanley couldn't yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I also noticed there's 5 buttons down here. Like...
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
There's a
Now
few
the
boxes
monitors
here,
jumped
but I
to
don't think
life,
it's enough
their
for
true
the...
nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images
Lots
on
of
screen.
boxes.
And Stanley,
Wouldn't
one
that
of
be
them,
one of the untextured
eternally
rooms?
monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Because that's all I can think of.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job?
Also,
That
number
his emotions had been
234
manipulated to accept
seems
it
to be
blindly?
blanked out.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't
that,
accept it.
234.
His own life in someone else's control.
Is that my room?
Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content.
I just realized it's the
Walking,
hole down
eating,
here, isn't it?
working,
Or...
all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
I keep saying I'm gonna see the actual intended ending, and I'm resisting every urge in me to press different buttons or to go on different directions.
And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
No, just check out the story.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin.
Resist the urge to
feeling
do
of
all the wrong
liberation.
things.
The immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Okay, there's some achievements. Wait, I haven't gotten a single one before? Okay. Uh-oh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What was
Stanley
the
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed
Welcome
a
to the
memo.
whiteboard ending? Dogma. What? Can I close this? Okay. Now... It's one of these rooms, right?
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a
Right,
single
there's no
difference.
243
Nor
here.
did it advance the story in any way.
I mean, 423. Where?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Where's room 423? Okay, well, we gotta go to the red and blue doors
This
first
was not
for
the
the
correct
Stanley
way to the
collectible.
meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Right, I have to wait until this is at the
Look,
right
Stanley,
spot.
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong
and then I have to
foot
jump off
here.
this thing.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
There it is.
Now listen carefully, this is important. You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through
So I
the
think
red
that-
door. I still don't think we're communicating
No,
properly.
this one. I think
Alright,
that
fine,
boxes
go ahead,
might
Stanley.
mean
You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to
the
find out what
incomplete
lies at the end of this
textures,
road you've
but I'm
chosen?
not
Well,
entirely
don't
sure.
let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were
I don't think I've been
before.
this way.
Go
And
ahead,
look, there's a
Stanley.
lot of
Take it for a
boxes here,
spin.
so maybe this is it?
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Alright, I'm not seeing it, so
one?
maybe...
I mean, I can understand if you had
maybe this
reservations,
is
you saw
not
ways
it.
the game could be
Maybe
improved
they mean,
to
like,
more
actual
fully
cardboard
express itself
boxes.
mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Here's the leaderboard. Again, there's the boxes.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors?
Why don't we be nice to him and see
honest
what
answers,
happens?
please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Does it not matter? Does he still...
In this game,
Alright, we
the
still
baby
end up
crawls
here.
left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family
I know there's
life.
an ending if I
think
actually
the
do this for
art
4
world
hours,
will
but I'm
really
not
take
I'm not
notice.
doing that
But
today.
of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Gosh, that is like the most annoying noise too.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me?
I did it because
if
that
it's the latter,
sound
well, I
was
don't know what to do.
terrible.
I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Alright, we've already been down this road. I think I can just go here. I mean, my room has a lot of boxes, but...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wait, awaiting input. Oh? What's this? It's not letting me do any more there.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I know there's another ending this way, too.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art.
There's
But
another
eager to
ending
get
if I
back to
don't jump
business,
off of
Stanley
the...
took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't
Oh,
5
there's a
years
lot of...
ago.
Wait a minute, duh! Lot of box... How? Is... Oh, no. No, 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 no. Okay, platforming. Platforming in a game that is really not meant for platforming. Fantastic. Let's go. Come on. Got it.
And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Okay. Now, also, can I go down there? I expect to see someone at a con dressed as Stanley with a bucket. That'd be great. I saw, like, okay. I saw a vent over here. What this? Uh-oh.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path.
Oh dear.
That it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path. That it seemed the office had begun.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Oh, okay, that's it for that one. So I got all the figurines.
Stanley,
Whoa!
I'm sorry,
Whoa!
but I have to put a
Whoa!
pause on things. It's just,
Oh my goodness.
It's those figurines, those figglers.
That
I
actually
haven't
freaked
stopped
me
thinking
out.
about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Okay.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
What if I take it, actually? Oh no, it's already gone. Too late?
And here was the second Stanley. You found this one all on your own just by poking around behind the
goodness.
boss's office. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Thanks?
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you
This way,
remember?
right?
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, under the stairs. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything. Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
Oh dear.
This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was by the red and blue doors. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion.
You what?
Enjoy.
Oh no! It's the Windows Movie Maker!
takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else. And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here in the warehouse. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like. And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone. No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
I don't... Well, okay. How many endings are in this game? I am not entirely sure.
Okay, yes. This spot in the warehouse. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more. And
what if I
here's
just...
where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Oh, you're gonna make me... Oh no, not again, no!
Yes, I love that video.
I paid to have this experience. This is something I am choosing to do with my Saturday night.
Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room. These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
No, okay.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
How far backwards am I going to
Look,
go
it's
here?
the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy oh, yes! The two doors! Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with, well, Came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions, he would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes.
Are the developers of this game okay?
I can do it. I'll be stronger this time.
Like, blink twice if you're not okay.
I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Huh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What happens after I finish the game one more time?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Ooh, what's in here?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable.
234.
How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
I hadn't seen that one before. Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone.
He said one more time.
What did it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
But it does not seem to be the case.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Okay. Wow, okay, thanks.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Okay, what's gonna be
All of
wrong
his
this time?
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah, there's nothing in here.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes.
No.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our step. Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Hey, I did it! I beat the Stanley Parable!
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
The Stanley Parable
I've got a
2
solution.
adventure line.
This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
This was not a direction we could go before. That's not it.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that.
I don't know where you were going either, man.
I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Adventuring music. Why am I following this line? It doesn't matter.
Cut the music. go back and look at that fern.
What?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Okay.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you
We're
want
going
our
in
story
circles.
to be?
We're going
Go
in circles.
wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley,
TM.
I'd also like to veto the
You
line from
TM.
having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Dang it, no, let me...
Oh, hold up, what's this?
What?
The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's
Playing
all
the confusion ending for
determined?
17 minutes.
So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this?
They're the same way.
No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey. Though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Uh-oh.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
the game
Stanley
entirely.
decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay. Sure, let's try it. Still the Stanley Parable. Alright, let's quit to desktop. And then we'll start this back up. It asks me this every time I play, which is interesting. Wait, did I press AM or PM? Hang on, hang on. Actually setting the clock both times you've booted up the game. A lot of people don't take the steps seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day, but you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know you care about this experience. You're paying attention. Don't have a way of knowing if the times you're setting is correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whatever time you want, even if it's not correct time. You've earned it. Okay.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
So what's gonna happen now that I rebooted the entire game?
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever...
And I said click to skip, right? And that's just gonna be the same. Alright. Welcome back. Achievement unlocked.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You know what? Come along, Bucket.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
What's it say in the meeting room now?
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Okay, so... nothing new there. Actually, no, you can't have my bucket.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs
I still
to the
wonder if
boss's
there's
office.
anything on that elevator. So I'm gonna check that elevator again. Maybe if I go the other way. I could have sworn there was an elevator here, right? Been in here. I can't go that way now, okay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
I don't want to just go to this ending again. I just...
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Alright, I've already been this way. Hold on, there's one ending I know I haven't gotten. I want to go do that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Now, what I'm wondering...
No, said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one
but
another's
I
arms.
fell further before.
How deeply touching.
I've fallen further before and I lived. So let me get this straight. I can fall all the way down that bottomless hole and I'm fine.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting
sure.
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah, physics or whatever the narrator
Wow.
wants them to be, which
Yes,
makes sense.
This room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot.
Just
here.
look down there, it
I'm
looks
not
like
sure
there's an
Anthony,
open
really,
door.
I'm not. I
And I
realize
really
that
wanna-
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story
Is there a way
has
to get
been
down
about
there?
nothing but you all this time. There's someone
Oh,
you've
looks like
been
there's a door on the
neglecting,
other end
Stanley.
there.
Someone you've forgotten about. Please.
Let's go this way
stop
first.
trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
What?
She's been waiting.
What? Whoa.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
What?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there
What?
we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Good morning. Press R on your keyboard.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes, is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Is anything actually going to happen, or do I have to press the button?
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried...
Okay. Well then, on that cheery note, I think that's where we're gonna leave it for the night. I've actually kind of run out of directions to take and I could use a break. But, thank you so much for joining me in the stream tonight, guys. If you didn't catch it, I recently put up a supercut of all my Kirby episodes. It's really nice. It's, like, a few hours long. It's great background noise if you enjoy watching games while working or stuff like that. So I hope you'll give it a look. Thanks so much for tuning in for the stream tonight, guys. Wow, it is late. Gracious. I haven't done a late night stream like this in a while. I changed jobs to one that doesn't require me to be up so early in the morning, so I might get to do more late night streams like this in the future. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, everybody.